Have you ever made a stupid mistake that kind of keeps you up at night? Well, I've made one of them, and I've come back to rectify it. This is a pile of dry washer tailings. And these are the drift mines out in El Dorado. The drift mines are made up of 2.6 million year old conglomerate that came from a mountain that eroded over millions of years. This conglomerate is river gravel that's turned into a thing very similar to cement. There's a lot of gold in this rock. And as you may be able to tell, we are nowhere near any kind of water source. Therefore, when I first bought the dry washer, I brought it out here to collect some of the gold that I was unable to access any other way. The problem with that is I didn't know what I was doing. There is going to be a whole bunch of gold that I lost in these tailings. And I've been thinking about that for 6 months. So today we're going to put these in buckets, take them to water and sluice it. Every time I've done some dry washing, people have asked me, what about the big clumps of dirt that fall off the back? The thing about dry washing is, it's the only way to work areas like this. So you're always going to be up on gold, regardless if stuff like this falls off the back with gold in it. There is no efficient way to break this stuff down without water. Therefore, it falling off the back is acceptable loss, unless you want to spend hours and hours breaking individual clumps of dirt like this to dust.
There's the old tale of Old Man Vogus. If you go out on a cold, still night, you'll hear him howling in the wind. Gold! Gold!
As my mate Tree here will tell you, this dirt came from the coarse tailings. Therefore, it never went over the riffle tray, and it's probably going to have some good gold in it. And as strong as I look, I am not going to be strong enough to lift this entire full bucket into the car. So we're going to move on to the fine tailings and smaller buckets. Smaller buckets. Oh, ugh. Yum. This is about 110 litres of pay dirt. This all went through the dry washer. This bucket fell off the back of it. We're going to do them all together and see how much more gold we get, because I only pulled out a 0.3 to the creek. Behold, my sluice box. I am having a real love affair with the Gold Hog multi-sluice. It's just a real pleasure to use. There are other sluices that work more efficiently, but I really like this thing. It's fun. For those that want to know, we are using the Gold Hog multi-sluice, powered off an 18 amp marine battery, running an 1100 gallon an hour bilge pump. This whole setup will get me about 6 hours runtime. First bucket. Never run dry dirt. Dry dirt is hydrophobic, it repels water, and therefore it'll float on the surface tent shed and right out the end of your sluice, with never hitting the mat or the drop riffles to catch the gold. Senior sweatpants. Man, they look nice. What model are they?
The 5000.
I always flavour my slurry as chocolate. You can flavour it whatever you want. These first buckets are from the fine tailings. These went through the dry washer. So whatever gold we see in here was because of my incorrect settings. The next bucket is from the coarse tailings. That never went through the dry washer. That means there should be a lot more gold in the next big bucket. The main reason I'm doing this is so that I can figure out at what point I got my settings in my dry washer correct. And then I can go back and rework those piles when they're dry with the dry washer and recover the gold that I would have lost. I got all the fine tailings buckets done. I just want to wash those buckets out into a pan and see what kind of gold might be in the bottom. I'm not expecting to see a huge amount of gold in here, but I am expecting to see a couple of flakes, which is exactly what we got. That goes to show you that dry washer and those old settings were definitely losing gold out of the fine tailings. Seeing a whole bunch of black sands, no really obvious gold. There's a couple of little flakes here and there, but most of it's going to be very fine if I've lost it. The next bucket's where we're going to see it. This is Fern's tug. It's her favourite toy in the whole world. To get the best from your rich chocolate mud cake, first add creek water that comes from a sewage farm. Then don't f***ing eat it. I may have actually added too much water to this, and I don't have any more flour. This is an oven to bake your cake. That's a professional swoosh. Once again, just checking the bottom of the bucket because we can. Completely unnecessary step, but this is all about fun, right? Christmas wants to have fun. Now, in theory, we should see some bigger flakes of gold in here because this never went through the dry washer's main box. But, you know, theories. And as I say that, we've got micro poops that you're probably not going to be able to make out on camera. Oh, so stylish. $3,000 ounces. Remembering this is tailings, it's waste rock from my dry washer. We're not expecting a bonanza of gold from 110 litres of dirt. We're just trying to recover what we did lose that day. Oh, I see gold. I see gold. A little bit of black sand in it. As you can see, we got a decent amount of black sand from that, including a couple of nice pieces of cassiterite. Any gold? That's the question. Wire off my classifier bucket. Wow, super, super fine. Really not that much. That's not bad, like it's good to recover that, but now I'm not so worried about my high banker tailings, dry washer tailings. What this tells me is I don't have to be so paranoid about all those piles I've left out in the bush. Even though the machine settings weren't great and we did lose a little bit of gold, it's not so significant that I have to go back and run all of those piles. I can just continue to look for new ground. Doing these sort of tests is what makes you a better prospector. It's how you learn to rectify mistakes in the field so they don't happen again. At any rate, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please give your dog a scratch behind the ear. Peace! We're out!